All right, guys, so this is going to be like the 6th or 7th time I've recorded this because I keep fumbling through what I'm trying to explain, and I swear this would be way easier if I could just speak clearly. All right, so basically what I wanted to show you, though, was, and actually, let's back up. The topic of this video is going to be copying files from your iPhone, photos from your iPhone to your Windows 10 machine. So on my iPhone here, there's a couple things I want to do before I start this, and I want to explain them to you as well so that you know what to set for yourself. So load up your settings, scroll down, and the first thing we want to do is, if you've got a lot of files you want to copy, I would suggest keeping your screen from locking, because if it locks, there's a chance that you're going to lose access to the files on that phone when it's plugged in. I'm not 100% certain this is truly accurate. I just know that I've had issues in the past trying to copy images from my phone to my Windows 10 machine, and whether or not this was the cause of the issue, I just like to eliminate any potentials. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my screen lock to never, because I don't want it to lock while I'm doing this. Now, don't forget to change that back, because that is a security thing. If you leave your phone to never and you leave it around, one, your battery's not going to last very long, because if you left it in your purse or something like that, or your pocket for a guy like me, I guess, what's going to happen is your phone's never going to lock. You could accidentally call people. The screen's going to be on the whole time, and your battery would be dead in like a couple hours. So, plus, if you dropped it, left it somewhere, somebody could technically access the stuff that's on your phone, because it never locks, so it doesn't require a passcode. So don't forget to set that back. But while you're copying them, set it to never like this. The other option that we want to talk about is scroll down a little bit more, and you've got photos right here between TV, camera, music. So I'm going to tap photos. I'm going to scroll the bottom of photos, and there's a setting down here, transfer to Mac or PC. So now this is important, because if you're plugging into a PC, you actually want that set to automatic, not keep originals. And let me explain. So basically the way that, so I'm going to set this to automatic, we know that, and I'm going to switch over to my desktop here, because I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about here with this automatic versus keep originals. So basically, let me do a quick little diagram here. So if you've got it set to keep originals, which I think is the default setting, and it especially works well with Mac OS. So if you're plugging into an Apple, which is not the point of this video, then that's actually the setting you want to use. But if you plug it into a PC, essentially you're going to plug it into your PC, and it's going to give your computer essentially direct access. I mean, it's not really direct, because Apple's doing something with the file system, but it's pretty good pretty close to direct access to your files for your photos and your videos. Sorry, excuse me. So basically what that means is that the iPhone is going to present this file format that's not very usable. I mean, you can view it and browse it, but you're going to have issues with certain applications in Windows 10. And it's this file format called HEIC, which is an image format that was created by the same guys that created MPEG, same group or whatever it's called. And it's kind of like it has its own unique codec. I think it might be based off of a video codec, to be honest with you. I think the HEIC can do short animations, picture animations, I guess you could say. Kind of like maybe a GIF animation, but I think it might be more advanced in the sense that it's likely a video codec, not just like a multi-layer GIF where it's just a bunch of images on top of each other to create an animation. So basically the reason I'm talking about that is because you might run into an issue if you copy a ton of files that it'll crash in the middle of your copying. And I've had this happen a couple times. So let me explain what I think is going on. So when you turn on the automatic setting for Windows on your, for your phone, so when back in that photos setting, you turn it to automatic instead of keep original. So let's do that by writing an A here. So this is an automatic mode. And what it's going to do is when you plug it in, it's actually going to create this injection layer. It's like a conversion layer that you don't see, but when you plug in your phone to your PC, what you'll start to see on your PC is you won't see any HEIC file formats. You may not see any MOV formats. It might convert those as well, but you definitely won't see any HEICs. They'll automatically get converted to JPEG. Now here's the key. They'll automatically get converted when you open them, copy them. Those are the only two. So when you open or copy them, and not like when you set that setting, it doesn't immediately go through the whole iPhone and convert everything to JPEG. That's not what happens. On the iPhone, it is literally still going to be an wow, look at this awesome handwriting ability here. That's with my mouse, by the way. HEIC format, but it'll be presented to Windows when you plug it in as a JPEG. Now, when you copy one file, it's going to go through this and convert it from HEIC to JPEG at the time that you copy it. If you copy one file, it copies. If you open a picture, it's basically like copying it because your system has to read the file. So it's really not a whole lot different. It's going to run that through that same like conversion layer. If you open, let's say you open an MOV. I'm not sure that it's the MOVs. Let's just go with that because I know MOVs is an Apple format. It's also going to convert those to an MP4. So now here's the interesting thing. HEICs are photos, right? So they're kind of small in a way comparison to a video. And when you open those up, or you copy 10, or you copy 100, either way, it converts each one individually as that process happens. So I copy 100 files, it's going to convert 100 files over to JPEG at the time they're copied. Same with the movies. When I copy the movie, it's going to automatically convert that to an MP4. Now, here's the thing, the reason I'm mentioning this, because I've had a couple times where I'll copy a movie file that's very large, and right in the middle of my copy process, Windows will just say, lost connection to the device. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. And so what I think is actually happening is this transformation layer, this conversion layer, is crashing on the iPhone while it's converting from this to that. And when that occurs, this layer dies, and then therefore your connection, what you see on the Windows machine, also dies. And what you have to do is unplug the phone, plug it back in to get it to reinitialize this whole process. So in my experience, if you leave the automatic setting versus keep original, so you leave it to automatic like we showed here, if you leave it on automatic, then when you try to copy that same file, you have the exact same issue because it's literally running through the same conversion layer and it has the exact same issue it had before and it crashes. So the only way to get those files off is do not set it to automatic, set it to keep original, knock out, keep original. And then it'll let you, then it doesn't have this conversion layer anymore and it'll let you copy the file successfully. So I just wanted to show you that. So back to the phone. I just plugged it in. It's asking me if I want to trust this device on my phone. So make sure it's unlocked and you say yes to trust. Potentially it'll ask you for your PIN. I'm going to type my PIN. Currently I'm set to automatic file type, which means I'll see JPEGs only. I won't see any HEIC files, which is good because I don't know what to do with those. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the file structure here. So you might think this is an intelligent file structure. This is a stupid file structure. Sorry. It just goes right along with how I feel about Apple systems in general. But basically what's happening here is Apple decides to create a new folder for whatever reason. Why are they numbered this? I don't know. And the reality is that each of these folders might contain new files. Like here I've got a 1227 all the way back to 226. And this one I've got a 1025 all the way back to 515. Okay, so those date ranges literally overlap each other. So why are there two different folders? Why couldn't this one end at a certain date and this one begin at the next date? Really have no idea. So when you take a new photo on your phone or download an image or whatever you're doing, it could literally appear in any of these folders. Maybe somebody else can explain in the comments the rhyme or reason for these folders. I don't know what they are. But what I've always done to copy files off is, one, I break these up into my group by type. So I'm going to click on view. I'm going to go to group. I'm going to say group by. I'm going to hit type. And it's going to break them up in the various file types. So I've got AAE. Don't know what that is. Don't care. Don't want them. They're probably metadata about something. And so basically I've got JPEG, MOV, MP4, and PNGs. A lot of times the PNGs are like screen captures. They're not going to be photos. These are going to be most of my photos here. And so basically what I'll do is I'll go through each of these one at a time. Like JPEG, I'll copy all these JPEGs over into a folder. Now you can also move them. This is important because, hold on a second. I'm gonna move these over. iPhone photos. So I'm just creating a folder on my desktop called iPhone Photos. I'm gonna go ahead and right click and drag these over, holding right click and dragging, and then I'm gonna let go. It's gonna say move here. And I want to prove, so in the past I've done this, and sometimes it literally doesn't move the files, which is really stupid, because then I can't figure out what I've moved or copied. Essentially, a move command in a file system is, simplistically speaking, it's a copy, and then when a copy is verified, it's a delete. So that's literally what's happening on the file system. I'm going to copy this file over, and once it validates that that file is copied, it then issues a delete command on the source. It will never issue the delete command until the copy command is successfully completed. So if you were to cancel this right now, the ones that have been moved successfully, so any of them that have been copied, verified copied, they'll be deleted, or because they're already deleted. Anything else will still be on the source. So basically, I've had instances where moving the files does not remove them from the phone, and so I wanted to see if this is truly going to happen. We only got 15 more seconds. I think this is the best way to do it. If you can move them off, that's much better, because then they're gone off of the phone. You don't have to deal with them on the phone anymore. So let's find out and see what happens here. 5 seconds remaining. It's going to crash. It's going to crash. What do you think, guys? Is it going to crash? I mean, this is an Apple iPhone plugged into Windows 10 machines. Very possible that this is not going to work. This is the kind of stuff that you run into when copying across. So my phone is currently unlocked. Still plugged in. I haven't changed anything on the phone. And looking at what it's doing right now, I think there is a good chance that this process is actually going to fail me. It finished. So that seems to me like what happened was it copied the entire chunk, and then it issued the remove statements on the entire chunk, not one at a time. It's not like it copied one file, deleted it, copied one file, deleted it as part of the move process. It must have copied the whole stack, and once that copy was successful, it issued the delete the whole stack, which is why it took a very long time at the end. So as you can see, I've got a bunch of movies here. I've probably made just clips of whatever it is. I'm into fitness, so typically I film myself doing some workout moves, checking my form or uploading to Instagram or whatever. And that's a lot of these are probably family stuff too, but really some pretty short little clips. So I could do the exact same thing with these movie files. I can move them off just like I did. Now back to the comment about the keep originals on automatic. When I move these over, they're going to go through some kind of format filter, whether it's re-codecing it, like it's going to do a encode or decode and then re-encode it with a different codec. I don't know the process. I just know that if you have it on automatic and it crashes, just set it to keep original and you should be able to copy the files off. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Device attached to the system is not functioning. So what had happened was it tried to convert one of these using that conversion layer I was just talking about, and it crashed. So now this entire thing is broke, I think. Yeah, see? Device is unreachable. So basically the only way to fix this is to unplug the phone. But before you unplug the phone, in fact, you know what? Let's just do this right now since I got it. This is a perfect example. I'm going to unplug the phone. I'm going to put it back to transfer to Mac or PC. I'm going to put it back to keep originals, which I believe is the default default setting for Apple iPhones. I'm going to plug it back in. It's going to ask me if I trust it. Do I trust this? Yes. And ask for a PIN code, type that PIN code in, and I should be able to get into this file now. And let's go to this PC. You have to wait a couple seconds while it does, I don't know what. It's probably loading the conversion layer or the presentation layer for the file system on the Apple iPhone. I do have quite a few files. I mean, you can see I've got only 10 gigs free of my 60 gigs. I literally think that's like 25 gigs of photos and videos on this phone. We were in Apple 115, I believe. I'm going to put this to details, group by type. And look at that. I've got some HEIC files. I've got some JPEGs. Now, if you were following me just a second ago, I literally moved these out a second ago, didn't I? So what are these doing in the 115 folder now? Do you think these are over here in this folder? Like if I were to copy this, will it say it needs to be overwritten? Look at that. So when I moved them off, I mean, you saw me move off all the JPEGs. Why are there still some left? Well, I don't know. Apple obviously didn't issue the delete command when I moved them. Back to my original comment of sometimes moving doesn't work as good as it's supposed to, so the cleanup process is kind of a pain. You got some native file formats because I set it back to the keep original. But what I wanted to show you was I've got all my videos here now, right? So I bet you... Let's put some money on this. No, just kidding. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move these here. But now that it does not have this conversion layer explained here, this move process will most likely succeed. Yes. Copy and replace. Let's do it for all the next 107. I mean, it's already further along, right? And you know what else is it does look like it was faster than last time. I don't think it copied this fast last time. So that back to this comment of the conversion layer, right? This is a process that happens on the iPhone. So the iPhone has to process these with each one. So every time you copy, it's got to convert that. So it's going to use a lot of processor power on that phone to copy 500 files or whatever I copied from HEIC to JPEG. Same with the movie to MP4. It's literally the same thing. It's got to convert those over. Whatever it is that it's doing on the back end, it chews up some CPU time. So as you can see, it's copying just fine. I set this back to keep originals. So I don't have a better answer for this. This is how Apple designed it. But if you want to copy photos and videos off of your iPhone, there's a chance you're going to have to set to keep originals to get the video formats to come across. But for the image formats, the photos formats, I would suggest you set it to automatic so you get them all in JPEG, because HEIC is just a pain in Windows 10. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I do appreciate the comments and the likes for whatever you leave, if you leave any. All right, see you later. See you later.